Welcome, everyone. Summary of week 3, going into week 4. It was a good week of college football. Some teams got their first wins. Some teams engaged in a shootout, which resulted in about 150 points being scored. It was interesting, to say the least. First off, I want to go over the game of the week, which was Nebraska at Georgia. Georgia still was pumping, bro. Stadium pulse was insane, and Nebraska ends up falling 32 to 35 with a chance to win on first and goal with about 18 seconds left. Nebraska throws an interception, but I mean the big storyline here was number one, the environment, and number two, Oscar Delp went for 265 yards receiving. No, excuse me, 303 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns, 160 run after catch. Just an insane day for the Georgia wide receiver, Georgia tight end. Just ultimate Brock Bowers performance. Nebraska had no answers for him in coverage. But yeah, it was obviously tough for Nebraska to get the ball rolling with stadium pulse and the constant mid blitz every play. But yeah, that's what happened in Georgia. Tough game. Georgia looks to start their CPU games next week against LSU. Nebraska is on the road at Michigan. Next up, we had a first win, Ohio taking down Western Michigan. It was a very, very MAC style game. Only 17 total points, all in the first half. Scored no points after halftime. Uh, nice for Miles here to get his first win. It was not pretty, but Ohio is on the way to 1-0 in an American. So it's going to be if he can go the rest of the season undefeated, he definitely has a bid for that final playoff spot. Next up, we had the game that doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that you consider it being Roosh and how bitch made he is. Over 1,300 yards of total offense. Um, just glitch Hail Mary plays all in out. I mean, shout out to Texas for agreeing to do this. I would never let such a bitch made thing happen to me, but Liberty loses to Texas 86 to 69. But yeah, Liberty heads on to a bye. I believe Texas is on the bye next week as well. Next up, we had Ohio State at NC State. This one resulted in a 58 to 16 Ohio State win. Fresh off of a bye week, Ohio State gets a much needed CPU win after falling to Texas first game of the season. Good win for Ohio State. They absolutely blitzed NC State. You had Sayin with 7 touchdowns and a solid day for Jeremiah Smith and Max Clare. But just a good one for Ohio State. You had FCS Midwest and Penn State. That was a force fair simulation. And then you had Oklahoma State at Kansas. Carson's on vacation. So that's going to be another fair swim as well. So Penn State most likely will beat it FCS in a fair sim. And then you have that's a 50-50 draw between Oklahoma State and Kansas. We'll find out next week who wins that one. Next up, we had two CPU surprising losses. First up in the Big Ten, Mr. CPU Games himself, Jacob, falls victim to UCLA and Nico Amliaba. An interesting performance resulted 3 interceptions for Mr. Underwood in his freshman year, and you had Nico on the other side throwing for 3 touchdowns. Just could get nothing really going. Only 42 yards for the primary back on the ground. It just wasn't a pretty game. I assume he went offense only for this one, and he falls victim to UCLA. It looks like there was a late comeback, but UCLA might have iced it with a field goal. Next up, another loss. We had South Carolina at Vandy. South Carolina falls to Vandy 28-14. We previewed this game. This was going to be a tough one for Vandy just because of Lenora Sellers on the other side, and he had a day, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns, and facing on the ground, Faison, whatever it is, had 115 rushing yards on 16 attempts. So another tough loss for Vandy. Heisman is difficult. This South Carolina team almost seems to be a playoff contender. And yeah, just another loss. Vandy falls to 1-2. Not the start they wanted in the SEC, but hopefully the road gets a little bit easier and not having to play number eighth ranked South Carolina anymore. Last but not least, we had a solid win for Mr. Noah over at Arkansas, putting up 47 points to beat Alabama 47-19. Also, it talks about how this was a not a the same Alabama team. They did not have a quarterback, and this Arkansas team pretty much put belt to ass. You had Taylor Green going for 3 touchdowns, 347 yards. Not much to say on the ground, but it looks like it was a solid defensive performance from Arkansas. I believe they are headed to a bye next week. All right. Not a lot of games to report for week 4. That being said, our game of the week is Ohio State and Vandy. The Ohio State, fresh off a win against NC State, travels to Vandy. Vandy obviously 0-1 in the SEC, and another user loss and a user win against Charlotte. This Vandy team needs to right the ship if they want to have a bid at the playoffs. I mean, I know this Vanderbilt team doesn't have expectations of the playoffs, but I mean, a win here would help. This Ohio State team is good. They took Texas to the end of the game, and they're going to look to finish it out here. But my pick, I'm going with Ohio State to get the job done on the road in Nashville. Next up, we got Nebraska at Michigan. Two friendly foes, both off of bad losses. Nebraska falling to Georgia last week at home on the last second. Michigan also falling to UCLA. Both of these teams need a win. They need it now. So this one will be interesting. Obviously, this game's at the Big House. So stadium polls are going to affect Nebraska for the fourth straight week. But I'm not going to pick this game because I'm playing in it. But Nebraska at Michigan is going to be a good one. Next up, you have Maryland at Wisconsin. This Wisconsin team is off to a solid start so far, 2-0. I don't believe they've had a user game yet to report of. I can check that real quick. But this Wisconsin team is back at Camp Randall. As they're lucky they have not had a user game. They're back at Camp Randall facing a 2-0 Maryland. This will be a start of the Big Ten schedule for Wisconsin. This is a tough conference, and he hasn't got the opportunity to prove it yet against the user. But this will be an interesting game. It's another opponent that could sneakily fuck around and beat you. But this Wisconsin team is who I'm going with. Next up, we have another opportunity for a first win. We got Charlotte at Navy. Charlotte, after going 0-3, to start a very, very tough schedule for Charlotte. They are on the road at Annapolis, Maryland. They look to take on the triple option Navy. It's a good test for Charlotte. To pick up some recruits, they're going to need to start stacking some wins in the American, especially as their schedule gets more user heavy down the stretch. They want to pick up these wins as soon as possible. So I got Charlotte taking down Navy here. LSU at Georgia. This is going to be an interesting one for Georgia, fresh off of a very solid, not comeback win, but a very solid win against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They take on the Tigers of LSU. LSU is a sneaky team. They got two very fast guys on the outside. Garrett Nussmeier is a gunslinger. So if this Georgia team's not careful, if they either look ahead or not, this LSU team can knock them off. But it looks like after this week, Georgia heads on to a bye. So this would be a very big win to go 2-1 heading into the bye week. So that's your week 4 slate. Get those games going. We only have 5 games, so we should be able to knock these out by Saturday or so. So best of luck, everyone. Good luck. Yeah, peace.